What's up, you Mighty Morphin MontyVersers? We are here to react to the brand new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always 30th Anniversary Special trailer. That was actually a mouthful. That was actually a lot to say. But basically, we are reacting to the 30th Anniversary Special that Power Rangers is doing on Netflix. It is bringing back the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Maybe not the original team. Maybe there's some OG members, and maybe there's some that are not. But this is the first time we are getting a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers reunion to feature more than 2 Rangers since the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers ended. So I am very excited to watch this. Nicki, as a brand new fan of Power Rangers, are you excited?
I'm excited. I don't know if I have the same level as you have, as someone who grew up with it and has seen all of the series in its entirety, but I'm very interested to see what they do with this reunion.
More phenomenal. Let's do it. Let's jump right in. All right, guys, starting the trailer right now. Alpha!
Action.
It's been 28 years since I've been back on the set of Power Rangers.
I
It's kind
know.
of crazy to think about that it's been that many years.
Is that the new command center?
It's surreal. It's been a great experience.
It's been very nostalgic.
Oh, there was a Green Ranger. The Green Ranger's there.
I know they were going to be suited up for this. I
That's
feel
so
like
cool.
I should have known that.
That new logo is sick. Oh my god, dude.
It's been really
Oh.
exciting to film a 30-year
Power
anniversary
Ranger.
special.
Let's be honest, the main reason we're here
David
is to
looks
see
great.
these characters, these actors that we're familiar with from 30
Oh.
years ago.
I think the audience is going to be first off
Johnny!
excited to see a bunch of us retro Rangers come back.
Oh, SPA.
Directing 2 actors who were Power Rangers 30 years ago, and actually some of the other actors too, Steve and Kat.
Oh!
It's an interesting process.
Meeting fans, the one thing they always ask are
Karen,
they
okay.
ever going to get the band back together?
That's so awesome. That's
Just
so
getting to work
awesome.
with Walter, obviously we have a long history together.
Well, David and I working with him as Billy and Zach being Zach and Billy. It's funny how similar it is.
That's so
in a
cool.
different way.
David and Walter, Steven and Catherine been working together a long time ago. So glad to see them.
There were a couple of us that had never been on camera together before.
Well, we're Mighty Morphin together, but separate cast. We've never actually worked
This is
together.
our first time
our
working
This
time.
is so
Just
cool.
coming back to the show in
Oh
general.
my
has been-
god.
It's just a joy.
We're a family of Rangers, so to finally be on a set with them was really interesting.
There's so many little Easter eggs. I just think
my
it's
God.
going to give the fans everything they want.
It's such
Tommy.
a different take on what we've done before, but a lot of the same elements are
So
there.
it's going to be a lot of original
I
Ranger
think what I'm most
footage.
excited about
It's
for
gonna
the
be all
fans
original.
and this 30th anniversary special is for them to see us all together and
my
our
God.
chemistry.
Is that
and
the
our
OG
growth.
team?
I think this is the best way we could have celebrated 30 years.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. April 19th. Okay, so we have the date. April 19th.
That's really close to my birthday.
That's who cares about your birthday? It's Power Rangers. Okay.
Oh, well, I
that's
thought
a
it
little
was-
harsh.
I was going to say, for me, that's a very
Yeah,
positive
okay.
thing.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Oh my god, there's so much I want to talk about. One, guys, full disclosure, Nicki does know about the replacement Rangers, so this
Yeah.
wasn't a spoiler.
I was gonna say I know Kat, I know Adam, Rocky. I'm familiar with them in concept. I don't know like anything about their backstories though. So
we
like,
should say you know the who, but you don't know the how.
no.
So that is still intact, but she does know that there are multiple Mighty
Right.
Morphin Power Rangers.
Right.
It's so cool that this is the first time that group specifically is working together
Yes.
as Rangers.
Mhm.
So first of all, we see Johnny Bosch and we see Karen Ashley. There's a Ranger series called Power Rangers SPD, which
Right.
revolves around the police organization Space Patrol Delta,
Mhm.
which is essentially in the future, and that's what kind of Power Rangers become law enforcement for the Earth in a way.
Mhm.
And now we see Johnny and Karen in outfits with SPA,
Mhm.
which Johnny Yong Bosch says is Space Patrol Alpha. So I'm really curious to see how that works. Does that patrol the space, and whereas Space Patrol Delta protects the Earth? Is this the beginning of Space Patrol Delta? It's really cool to see. I'm very curious about all that. One thing that was truly shocking was we have Green Ranger footage.
Right.
Like, JDF tragically passed away this year, But before that, he implied that he wasn't going to be making a return to Power Rangers. So I'm very curious to see if he's going to be in this at all, if he shot any footage before he passed. And if not, I think they may be doing this to honor the character of Tommy Oliver and to honor Jason David Frank. So that truly was shocking to me to actually see the Green Ranger, the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger there.
Mm-hmm.
But as a JDF fan, as a Tommy fan, I'm glad he is there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wouldn't feel like a Mighty Morphin special without acknowledging the legacy of Tommy and without acknowledging JDF.
Right, but what I'm wondering though, because unless I totally miss it, they didn't show who was the Green Ranger.
No.
But they showed pretty much everyone else.
They showed, well,
except Yellow.
Interesting. They only showed Walter and David out without the helmets on, correct? Or was Steve and
I think you're right.
So what I'm wondering is that going to be flashback footage? Is that going to be footage of like the original Mighty Morphin team? Maybe they got back together and maybe Walter and David,
right?
Something happens or we don't know.
Well, what I was wondering, because like in a weird way, because I know we had talked about like when they released the photos with the cast and like, okay, this person's back, but not necessarily this person. In a way, they almost have like one per, but I shouldn't even say that because as far as we know, Trini's daughter is in this. So maybe...
Well, I wanted to bring that up. That was a point I was going to bring up.
But I'm just saying, so like, yeah, it could be Karan, but maybe not necessarily. And we don't even know who Green is. So I think, like you said, we can't really assume too much now.
The Green has to be Tommy. It has to be either said in a voice or in some sort of dialogue that it is Tommy, or it has to be JDF's footage. For it to be anyone else, the only thing I could see, it doesn't really line up, but it could be his son JJ, which exists in canon. He does get referenced in Dimension in Danger, which is a Power Ranger special anniversary episode. But for me personally, I don't think you put anyone in that suit this year, unless it's JDF or referenced to be Tommy Oliver. Mm-hmm. It would feel wrong. It would feel wrong on so many levels. And I think this special, unfortunately, was shot before his passing. And I think the main focus of this special is on the legacy of the Yellow Ranger. Mm-hmm. Is that we get that tease, we get that close-up shot of the saber-toothed tiger power morpher. And we don't see any Charlie Kirsch footage. And we know that Charlie Kirsch is going to be in this. And they're keeping it a secret, but it's the worst kept secret. I mean, I think on Charlie Kirsch's Instagram, it even says, I'm playing Min Kwan on Power Rangers. So she is going to be the daughter of Trini Kwan. She's going to be Trini's daughter, and she is going to inherit the powers of the yellow Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. One is to assume. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how they're going to tackle that. We don't know if Trini is going to have retired. I don't see them killing off Trini in universe, and if they do, I hope it's something very respectful.
Right.
In a very respectful manner. But all we know is that it's going to be essentially like a passing of the guard, a legacy that respects all generations of Power Rangers. But yeah, that seeing all 5 Mighty Morphin suits together blew me away. There was shock, there was awe, there was excitement. Knowing that there are surprises. Because again, they showed, I always expected there to be surprises because they showed us too much. They showed us the whole cast. They're like, here's the whole returning cast. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but that's kind of like why ruin Johnny's cameo, or why ruin Karen Ashley's cameo? But now we see Green Ranger, and now I'm like, oh.
Right, like we really don't know how anyone's being utilized, because maybe that's my fault. In a weird way, I was shocked to see Walter and David suited up, like, as much as they were. Mostly because I just don't know what the story is, but like
it's so cool. You as someone who is watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the first time and is seeing them as Zack and Billy all the way from 1993, to see them now still as Zack and Billy, how wild is that?
It's weird. Like,
it's really cool.
And like you said, it doesn't have the same, on the one hand, I don't think it has the same impact as it does on people who have watched the whole thing, grew up with it. But Walter's saying like how he's working with the new cast he hasn't even worked with before. Like, that is really cool. Like, just like conceptually,
I've got goosebumps. Like, I've being a fan of this franchise and growing up with these characters, and this being the real, because one of Power Rangers' biggest problem is I think they respect what came before, but I don't think there's enough interconnectivity as so much as like the comics do. And now it's becoming more regular. Hasbro has done a really good job of integrating the lore. But we got the Legend War, which was dumb in Megaforce. That was a real big fumble. And to me, there was no real, outside of Forever Red, which is an episode that you know nothing about, and we'll get to eventually. There has really been no anniversary episode of Power Rangers. Dimensions in Danger was really good, but it was strictly a Tommy episode. I think it focused mainly on Tommy. So to focus on the legacy of Power Rangers and to emphasize the beginning of the franchise, like Mighty Morphin, this is the anniversary special, and then to disconnect it from the current series to not overshadow the current Power Rangers, to make it its own thing, I think was a very smart move.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so excited for this. It's really quite possibly one of the biggest movie, TV show, anything that I'm looking forward to this year, because when Power Rangers does stuff like this, it's really cool. When they respect the roots and they understand what the fan base wants, it's really cool to see them do that. So I'm really, really excited about it. This gave me goosebumps in all the best ways possible. I mean, you saw the cheap 90 sets. You're experiencing the cheap 1993 command center. To see that command center, like with all the LED screens and lights, and it looks so gorgeous. Like,
oh yeah,
wow, it looks so. I just want to know everything. I want to know. I want to know what happened. I want to know what everyone's been up to.
Right. It's like, well, in regards to that, it's like, on the one hand, like, yeah, obviously there's a massive difference in technology at this point with how they would build something like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with this kind of special, you'd hope that they wouldn't be half-assing it to begin with.
And which Power Rangers has done with their specials before. Looking at you, Disney and Neo Saban. But this feels like they care. This feels like they actually put effort into it. And I love it. Thank you so much, Hasbro, because this looks so good. I have so many questions. I wonder if Amy Jo, like, for me, like this if it's just this cast, let me say this first. If it's just this cast, there's nothing wrong with that. I will be just as excited then as I am now. But I'm very curious to see if Austin, JDF, and Amy Jo Johnson factor in at all to this. Because I would assume they tried to get everyone back, everyone who's associated with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers back. I wonder if Bulk and Skull are going to be back, if they're going to be working on... That would be a cool little surprise.
Right. And that's the biggest thing to me, because like I said before, I remember when that cast photo first came out and we were kind of questioning, like, what's with all these people who aren't here? Were they not asked back? Did they say no? And I will say this again, part of it is, since we don't really know the story, it's like you said, if we got just this, that would be great. But it's still interesting to think, like, oh, is there something they're hiding from us for right now?
And I think there is. I mean, we live in a world where Zoom is possible, where FaceTime is possible. So... Maybe everyone was unable to fly to New Zealand where they shot this, so maybe some people might pop in on a viewing globe or like a giant screen, and it's like Kimberly, and it's like, hey guys, it's Kimberly. I am an Olympic gymnast, and I am also Super Pink Ranger. I don't know, something like that. And then like behind her, it's like Jason going, hey guys, I'm here too. And then you have like Jade like. Honestly, I think you need something for JDF in this episode. If this is truly a 30th anniversary episode for Power Rangers, and I hate to bring the mood down, I think you need to have JDF. If it's just a montage, maybe a montage of him and Thuy, Trang, just to recognize the legacy of power they leave behind. So while this will be an episode that focuses mainly on Thuy and Trini, I think you have to tack on JDF in some way, because they both mean so much to so many people, and without them here, I think you have to acknowledge their passing. Just if this is for the fans, that I think the fans would greatly appreciate that.
Right. I don't know if we want to use the phrase "tack on" because we want to do a little more tastefully than that, but I get what you're saying in terms of like. Attribute something to him as well. Well,
I say tack on in the sense of like, not that they're feeling forced to put it there, but it's a scramble because, like I said, this was done.
This is probably not the plan.
This was not the plan. So they have to scramble to kind of, I think that they will. I think that they will very tastefully do something. I'd have no doubt about that. I don't think they're just gonna be like, oh yeah, Tommy's here and nothing happened. I think they will. I don't, not with the character of Tommy Oliver, but I think with the JDF, and I think they will do something that maybe just have him walk away into the sunset, like in costume or something.
Right.
That will acknowledge the character. So that's really my wish list for this. And if you liked the video, just give it a huge thumbs up. Subscribe and the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest content. Nikki, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Twitter at EggLordNikki.
And you guys can find me on all of the socials at the MontyVerse. And until next time, guys, stay versed.